In regards to propofol, you're talking?
Yes.
I'd agree with you. The numbers are not equal. No.
Well, they're not equal, but looking at those numbers, you cannot determine that the body is in equilibrium, can you?
If comparing numbers and equating that to equilibrium, I agree with you.
Be an indication that the propofol's just been in there for a short period of time, wouldn't it?
Yes?
If the person had been on a drip over an extended, say for an hour, if a person had been on a drip for an hour, you'd expect the body to be at equilibrium, wouldn't you?
Projection, speculation, a lot of
Overruled. If you know, you may answer.
If a person was on a drip, I would expect to have found the propofol in the drip bag. So I'm not quite understanding the question.
No, I was talking about the body. We'll get to the drip bag in a little while.
Okay.
You would expect, if a person was on a drip for an hour or so, that the blood levels, the vitreous, maybe even the urine, everything would kind of reach an equilibrium, wouldn't it?
Well, I think I already said earlier that I don't know how propofol will redistribute via elimination through the urine, nor do I know how it distributes into the vitreous. I don't know if this is common to find a low amount in the vitreous.
Okay, let's just talk about heart blood, hospital blood, and femoral blood. You'd expect those to be more at equilibrium if the person was on a drip, wouldn't you?
I don't know.
Okay. The midazolam at 0.0046. Did you do those calculations as to how much that would take?
No, not at all.
You did the calculations on the lorazepam. When did you do those?
Over the weekend,
What caused you to do that?
I received the lorazepam results on the gastric analysis that was performed, and I was doing some calculations based on how much lorazepam was in the gastric or the stomach contents, and taking a look at the blood values.
Okay, I noticed that under gastric contents up there, there's nothing for lorazepam, is there?
That's correct.
Why not?
In our evaluation of this case and our expertise, typically we only analyze gastric contents for purposes of overdoses of meds that are important to us. Another important to the case, potentially overdoses. We're looking for suicide concerns, accidental concerns, things of that nature. In our interpretation of the lorazepam results, they were in the therapeutic range, roughly, and we didn't feel warranted to do more work than we have to.
Well, the propofol's in the therapeutic range, isn't it?
Yes, it's in therapeutic range in the appropriate setting. No, it's not in therapeutic range in this particular setting. So it can go both ways.
The lorazepam levels are high, aren't they?
I've already stated that they are in the upper therapeutics.
Okay. Now, you did get some gastric results regarding lorazepam?
Yes, I sample split the gastric based on your request. It was sent to a laboratory of your choice, and the results were supplied to me by the DA's office.
And the result that was supplied to you was 0.64?
Yes, I'll believe you on that one. I don't know it off the top of my head.
That's three numbers, but I don't remember. 0.646 or 0.64 something?
Here's in the... Okay.
You want to check?
Please, if you don't mind. The value is 634 nanograms per milliliter, or 0.634 micrograms per milliliter, however you like to say it.
Can I mark this as defendant's next or this?
I think we're at GG. Golf. Would you like the lights dim?
Yes, please.
May we, Mrs. Benson?
Is this a copy of the, or is this the document that you have a copy of?
It is, except I have a couple of strikeouts on mine. I have the two urine names struck out with an initial, and it appears to be probably the person issuing this report.
Okay. And so it shows lorazepam detected at 634 nanograms per milliliter?
That's correct.
And so that would be, what's the next? Is it GG?
No, that was GG. This is HH.
HH?
Please, hotel. Are you talking about on that document or another one that you're going to be presenting?
On the lorazepam stomach
The
content.
one you just displayed?
Yes.
Well, that was GG.
That's GG.
Am I missing something here?
Evidently I am, but
I thought you were yet referring to another document. We've been talking about that exhibit, which is double G, ladies and gentlemen.
so those lorazepam results in the stomach they cause you to calculate. What calculation did you make?
To put the lorazepam results and convert it from concentration from nanograms per mil to milligrams, so that we have an easy comparison.
Oh, okay.
Would you like me to do that for you, sir?
No, I don't need that. I just the concentration, comparing it to the heart blood and to the femoral blood, it's about 4 times as concentrated in lorazepam in the stomach as it is in the blood, isn't it?
Yes, if you're comparing the 600 number to the 169 number, yes.
Do you think that's an important number?
Not really, no.
Well, isn't that pretty much consistent with oral absorption of lorazepam?
No?
Why do you say that?
Just because you analyze the stomach contents and find a drug in the stomach contents doesn't necessarily mean it's oral administration. We find plenty of drugs in people's system who smoke it, IV it, what have you, and you'll find the drug actually in the stomach contents at small levels. That's a common occurrence. It's known as ion trapping, where the drug can get trapped in the acidic environment of your stomach.
Is lorazepam subject to ion trapping?
Lorazepam is a basic drug, and yes, it can.
What was your gross contents of lorazepam in the stomach?
The calculation that I performed?
Yes.
In comparison to the milligram amounts, 0.046 milligrams of lorazepam.
Now the lorazepam, and what's the equivalent of that in pills?
0.046?
Yeah.
Well, in this particular case, I believe there's 2 milligram size tablets, so equating a 0.05 roughly to a 2 milligram 1/40th of a pill.
And is it you're saying that that lorazepam in the stomach would have come from the blood?
Yes. Or could come from the blood.
Could it also come orally?
Well, I'm not disputing that.
Okay. Now, the midazolam, you haven't made the calculations as to the amount of IV midazolam it would take to get to those levels. Is that correct?
That's correct. The levels are negligible. I mean, they're actually very small.
And that would that indicate that if midazolam was used earlier in the day, that it's largely metabolized? Would that be correct? Correct?
I'm not sure when the midazolam was used. I don't know whether a large amount was given or provided, and he's metabolizing it out slowly, and that's the residual amount, or that's a recent amount. I don't know.
Well, if the evidence came out and it was established that the midazolam was taken at 2 milligrams at 3 o'clock and 2 milligrams at 7:30, would it be consistent with those figures?
I don't know. I have not sat down to actually do calculations for midazolam being given multiple times and what kind of levels you would get or see.
Well, if we look at the urine test, the urine at the scene, how that plastic bottle that was captured from the scene, that's a .025. Is that correct?
Correct?
And the urine that was taken at time of autopsy, .0068. Would that be an indication that the blood level of metabolism was less at time of autopsy than it was at, say, 7:30, which is the time of the urine sample?
Blood level of midazolam, I believe, counts the blood level of metabolism.
Blood
You may
level
want to
of
refine the question.
midazolam?
Why don't you refine and re-ask the whole question, please?
Can you tell by those urine test results whether the midazolam level was lower at time of autopsy? The midazolam level in the blood was lower at time of autopsy than it was at the time that the scene urine was accumulated.
Just by virtue of number, 6.8 versus 25 nanograms per mil, the autopsy urine is lower than the scene urine. If you're trying to equate that back to a blood value and say that the blood value of autopsy in comparison to a blood value of scene blood, if there was one, would be one and the same, you can't equate that. There's no comparisons. It's like comparing apples and oranges.
It doesn't have a tendency to dictate one way or another.
You can't make that comparison and jump leap of faith from a urine value to a blood value.
Well, if the scene urine was put in that bottle at about 7:30, that would reflect the blood levels on an average over a period of time since the person last urinated, wouldn't it?
Objection vague.
Do you understand it?
No, I don't have a clue.
All right, you can just answer yes or no.
Yes, no, I don't understand.
All right, the objection is sustained. You may re-ask, please.
If we were to assume a person voided, say, at 1 o'clock, and then didn't void again until, say, 7:30, that void at 7:30 would reflect an average of the urine from 1 to 7:30, wouldn't it?
It would reflect, it would be the concentration of drug in there from that voiding, as well as whatever was still remaining in his system as he's metabolizing out even the administration beforehand.
Right. If a person voids at 1,